Hello, everybody. Welcome to Infodumping with Friends. And today is kind of special.
Yes, it is a very special day because I'm on it. Oh, it's also the day before our anniversary.
9 years.
Yep.
Also, it's Bunny Day.
Uh,
It's Zombie Jesus Day.
Zombie Jesus Day, Bunny Day, Chocolate Bunny Day, and Trans Day of Visibility.
Woo!
Yeah, so it's a coincidence that it landed on Easter. So.
But yeah. And what will you be talking about with us today?
Today we will be talking about something that I'm a part of, have a big, well, actually kind of a big part of. It's Brony D&D. Specifically, the Welcome to the Show campaign, as well as Shadows of the Old World.
And you've been a part of this since 2016?
2017.
Oh, okay. I thought it was longer.
No. No, this started. Actually, it might have started in 2016. The idea came to us. A bunch of us were in the Team Fortress 2 Analysis Anarchy chat. Myself, Josh Scorcher, Dr. Wolf, myself, Lightning Bliss, Eliora, Sweetie Bloom, Finn, and someone we don't name because of past drama. But we were what ended up happening was I believe Josh was finicking around with some character creation in Dungeons and Dragons, specifically 3.5 edition, and we got it. And someone, I forgot who sparked the interest. Is like, oh, that'd be cool if we created characters for everybody. And excuse me.
You're excused.
And we ended up talking about, it'd be cool to create a campaign, to make our own characters, and eventually it started off as a little test run, see how it would go, and eventually became a long running campaign. So it started off basically the theme of the campaign, traditional Renaissance era. It's a Renaissance era into not Victorian, but early Georgian era of Europe. With all the swords and sorcery, all that stuff. Starts off with a bunch of us just waking up in a jail cell. We're fighting in, and
as most D&D campaigns do, I assume?
No, most people start in a tavern.
Oh.
No.
I know the D&D movie had the party start in a jail cell. Kind of.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone wakes up in a jail cell. And we eventually meet the main player, the DM NPC, who basically gives the plot of essentially the plot of the first 2 seasons of the campaign. We are basically trying to take back the throne for her, and hijinks ensue. So, in the campaign, we have at the start of the campaign there were 7 characters. My character was a half-elf rogue. Goes by the name of Jalaram Tanliel. Then, also in the campaign, there is an elf wizard by the name of Thea Thurin, played by Eliora. After that, there was Rose. Oh crap! I'm trying to remember her last name now.
She was the Sweetie Bloom's character.
Yeah,
right?
Sweetie Bloom's character. She was a human druid.
Okay.
And her animal companion Shiloh.
Aw.
Then there was Ivan Windstrummer, played by Finn, who was a gnome bard. Then Dr. Wolf's character goes by Owen Lightbringer, which actually is not his real name. There's a spoiler to that, which I'll hopefully get to in a little bit later. Then there was... Then there's the most difficult character to work with, and that was Lightning Bliss's character, which was a dragon fighter. Yes, basically for what the I'm gonna paraphrase this a little bit because the campaign was like the character idea was you can create anything you want to be in the campaign. Bliss wanted to play as a dragon, since it's like most people go for the bipedal route. She wanted to play something that was on all fours, or can appear to be on all fours.
Okay.
And Josh said, "Challenge accepted." And yes, we were fighting alongside a gold dragon, although a little bit smaller than what you would normally see. And then the last one, Cross Dalgo. He is a Saurian ranger, and he was trying to if I remember his character. Basically, captain. He was a combatant captain who went through a tragedy in the past, and he's trying to atone for it.
Also apparently Cross had a kid.
Yes, Cross did in fact have a son. He was named Ran. He was played by Aramau, who eventually came in the campaign as sort of like this secondary NPC / player character later on.
Okay.
And then the NPC character that Josh played was Jemenia. She appears human, but she's actually a tiefling in disguise because racism.
Brony D&D was kind of ahead of its time in that regard.
No, that's always been a thing.
No, I mean, person in the royal family ain't white, facing racism.
Okay, but
I know it's a stretch, but
no, I mean that's like even so like stuff in you can always make the easy allegories to other stuff in there, but basically the first goal of season the goal of season 1 essentially is recruitment. Basically, we're going through going to every single town that's on the continent of Altasca, or the continent of Altasca, and trying to reunite the races to stand up to the big bad, like the big bad end boss, or rather, who think the big bad end boss of the of the series is. So, which is basically Jemenia's evil twin sister Simula. So first campaign, session 1 of the series is waking up is the prison. All 7 of us are sitting around in the jail cell waiting to figure out what the main task is, and this is where we're kind of still on our leash because we didn't really have a lot of freedom of movement, and we're still trying to work out the mechanics 3.5 since a lot of us were new to not just Dungeons and Dragons, but also this version of Dungeons and Dragons. I've played the edition we don't talk about.
What don't we talk about?
Well, let's see. There is 1, 2, 3, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 3.5 advanced. 1 advanced, 2, 3, 3.5, and 5.
We don't talk about the death number in Asia.
Yeah, we don't because So I played the other edition that is that you don't talk about, and it was kind of bad. Basically, the whole system is based around combat and only combat. Roleplay is essentially non-existent in that campaign, or rather in that system. Or if you try and do roleplay, it turns into combat no matter what.
Oof.
So yeah, I played 4th edition. I DM'd a 4th edition campaign, but never finished it because we couldn't. Well, one, we couldn't get together with my group, and 2, we were just bad at it. But yeah, 3.5 essentially it is 3rd edition, what most people consider like one of the good editions, but once you level up to level 2, you can take on God.
What?
I'm not kidding. 3.5 basically allows you to take on gods or become gods in our case, or god/demigods. Yes. So, what?
Nothing. I just laughed, and that laugh turned into a sneeze.
Okay. Well, yeah. So so back to what we were saying. First session, caught in a jail cell. We're sort of on a leash, trying to get to like how we want to progress the story, how we want to do combat, move around, etc. So, and we get a little bit of what our characters are like at the start. So, Thea Thurin, she starts off as is very shut off and kind of a bookworm. So you think the most obvious one we could think of is Raven from Teen Titans.
Okay.
And then a little bit of, I'm trying to remember which one from Ruby. I think it might be, I confirm with Ellie on this one. I think it might be Weiss from Ruby.
Okay.
We find out later that family life isn't the best. So that's a
concept.
Hello. So yeah, that's basically how it starts off with Thea Thurin's character. My character is trying to be the the overly cautious, sarcastic and kind of jokey guy, trying to play the typical charming rogue.
Who's also a half-elf assassin?
Well, he doesn't become assassin until later, but he's a half-elf. His backstory is that it's again similar to what ends up becoming with Thea Thurin, daddy issues. Only slightly less, but not that much. So yeah, great guy's great rapport with his mom. When he his hometown of Gatlas, knows who he is. He's very well liked there. He has plenty of friends there. He basically knows everybody. But his biggest thing, which also becomes a running joke in the campaign, is he doesn't know when to shut up. He has foot and mouth disease.
No.
By that I mean he tends to speak with he tends to say the wrong thing, ends up putting his foot in his mouth.
No.
He also does not like stairs. That is a running joke. Stairs are his mortal enemy.
How did that start?
Geez, I'm trying to remember what the actual start for that was. It might have been... Okay, it might have been like the 3rd or 4th session. Where he gets knocked down off like a miniature hill. It's like a 6-foot high hill. He gets knocked off, tries climbing back up. Oh no! I remember what it was. The first instance was it was myself and Cross, Jalor and Cross were climbing upstairs. All of a sudden, the step collapsed, and what ends up happening is Cross and Jalor go tumbling all the way back down the stairs.
Oh.
And
did you have to roll for that?
Yeah. So basically, it was a climb check, or. Back then I don't remember if we started off doing dexterity saves.
Mm-hmm.
But if I recall, we did end up doing that, I think, later. Sorry, like strength saves, dex saves, wisdom saves, etc. But yeah, that's how we start. So yeah, that's where that started off, and then eventually, every time we see stairs, it always leads to disaster for Jalra. He ends up he walks down a set of stairs, and it leads to a pendulum trap.
Oh no!
That almost cuts off his head.
Oh no!
So that's Jalor, how he starts off. Kind of jokey. He's sort of in it for the money, because at the time that's what I was trying to play as
just for the money.
Yeah, trying to play as like a traditional rogue, chaotic good.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I'm just remembering what like the trials for your characters. Jalarum roll not. What was it like? Rolling out 20 on a bluff?
I'll explain that a little later once we get to season 2.
Okay.
So that's how Jalarum started off. Rose, 100% distrustful of humanoids. She is one with nature. That's really the only thing she trusts, and kind of started kind of standoffish. In fact, she actually helps the first boss we end first actual fight we start fighting is against a blink dog. Essentially, what creature the blink dog is? It's I think it's like a lawful good type of dog, but when it's scared, it'll pop in and out of existence, right in front of you. But first instance, able to calm it down. No problem, and the encounter was over, and the audience booed.
Oh, why'd they boo?
Because we were in a gladiatorial arena, and they wanted bloodshed.
Oh.
Okay. Next. Okay. Ivan didn't really he changed a lot later on, in season 3 and 4, but he started off as a giant ball of sunshine.
Aw. Oh, like his player.
Yeah. Yes, Finn is a ball of sunshine, and that reflects him as well. Yeah, his goal is to do the peaceful thing because he's taken up an oath that he cannot harm anybody physically. His whole goal, his mantra is to trying to think is he can't harm anyone, otherwise essentially it's like a paladin breaking his oath, and you basically lose all powers, essentially that, but Oathbreaker hasn't been invented yet.
Okay.
That's what he starts off, the bundle of joy, trying to 100% optimistic, tries to help out everyone he can, even if it's impossible. Cross was the show off. He tried to be, I'm the guy. Okay, I'm gonna be the guy in charge. I was a captain. I can handle this. Follow my lead. It often led to disaster in some cases. For example, in the arena fight, there was one instance where he attempted to do a jumping attack off of Amber in her dragon form, and he had to get smacked in it. He had to get getting tail smacked.
Oh.
And there was also this whole thing about with the roles with in certain situations, there's this term called sentient dice, where the dice want you to succeed. If you had Cross had bad luck more times than not when it came to his rolls. So yeah, we dubbed it Cross Luck at the time. Amber was I forgot how old she was. Well, her current age, in game, but her age was she was very curious about the outside world, because the only like her adoptive father was a human wizard by the name of Hawthorne, and he was basically the only guide to the outside world. Once he passed, she was basically on her own and ended up getting captured.
Okay.
And so her whole thing is like, starting off with like learning about who we are, the fascination with humanoids, sort of like the opposite of what Rose's character was. Like an aversion, like Rose had an aversion to humanoids. Amber had an attraction to humanoids, but not in the romantic sense at first. But we'll get to that.
Okay.
And then finally there was, Owen Lightbringer, the very stoic and mostly silent and serious member of the group. He was our tank. He was a cleric. And there was a whole thing about... there was this whole thing about... whatchamacallit? There was this whole thing about, bad luck regarding him. Which I will get to. Basically, his whole thing is that he takes 100% everything serious, like 100% everything seriously stoic. He wants to get to he was like the rock and center of the group. So like if he went down, we were all screwed.
Aw.
So it's like the if you ever seen OSQ when everyone's doing reactions to deaths. One of them is the cleric fails his final death saves, like, oh crap, and then everyone else is like, then everyone else's reaction is, oh crap, that was Owen, but thankfully he never went down.
Okay.
No, that was me. That was usually me in that situation.
Aww.
Yeah, I was usually the guy who kept on getting hurt or getting knocked unconscious.
Oof.
And then finally, Jaminia, she was a gung-ho leader who wants to, save her kingdom from her sister. That's at the start. Session 2, right, and there's also there's one other character in that, who's sort of like he's like the second-in-command general, to Simula. He goes by Arkoth Wormwood. He is like, for those who've ever played, trying to think, if anyone's ever played Resident Evil 4, he is the Krauser to Simula's Salazar. If everyone's ever played that. But yeah, the guy was the guy loved his job. He loved to stuck it down everyone's throat that he was like the guy to beat. He was like the main obstacle until he gets to Simula. Yeah. So session 2. So first one, we basically we basically go through the motions like escaping the prison, escaping the arena with Jaminia. And the whole task is that we have to get her kingdom back. So, session 2, going through a cave. Go through a mountain of caves, and there's a bunch of traps that are designed to mess with every one of us, depending on what our characters are. So, with my character, I ended up entering a room with a bunch of traps ready to go off. Since one of the rogues' feats is disabling traps. That's one thing that should be like key to key to deal with. But the joke was that all the traps were like shoddily made. It was just there to psych me out, like psych you out. Mm-hmm. There was one where they had to jump over a gap to get a plank of wood on the other side so everyone can walk over. So that was Cross's task, and he ended up hitting an invisible wall.
Oof.
on the jump and landed on the hole in quotations, and it turned out to be just painted over black.
Oh.
For Phaethurin, it was stuff was written in Elvish. As she wrote, as like stuff's written on the wall, and as she got closer to each one, it pointed on the floor, and it translated to, "If you are reading this, you are too close." Then there was one where for Amber, it was she had the ability to transform into a rat. That was one of her other abilities. So she had a humanoid form, a rat form, and her actual dragon form. And the ability to travel to sneak through a little crevice to disable a trap, except there was also mouse traps littered through that corridor.
Oh no!
And then for Rose, there was a sick deer that turned out to be a zombie in disguise.
Oh no!
So yeah, so it played to her so it ended up playing to her weakness, and because stranded animals.
Aw.
And then for Ivan, there was a talking skeleton that tried to get a rise out of him.
Oh.
But it didn't work because Ivan is Sunshine Baby. And then finally, the last one was we ended up going up to a Minotaur, like a boss. Sorry. We ended up going to the final boss of that dungeon was a Minotaur. Except the paths ended up splitting, so one half of us was on one side of a crevice, the other half was on another one. Mm-hmm. And the Minotaur appeared on one side of the crevice, where Owen could not reach because he's a dwarf and he cannot jump. So all the healing was on the other side. Was stuck on the other side. So the solution to beating that was at the beginning was something that happened actually at the start of that session. Rose was knocked out because Sweetie was late to the campaign because she accidentally drank some water that had a sleep venom in it. Later discovered to be something called drow poison. She woke up, thankfully. But yeah, so we ended up the solution to that puzzle ended up being taking that sleep venom and shoving it down the gullet of the Minotaur, which mostly knocked it out, or at least drained its health a lot.
So it worked, I guess?
Yes, it did work, and that's something that the first campaign, what Welcome to the Show, at least the fight stuff, was all about. Is like more than just, it's not going all murder hobo, as some people call it, but also finding the quick solution, finding the easy solution. Because, finding something head on more than likely is I'm trying to think of what I was going to say. Is always like the direct solution, but there's always an easier option as we keep going down. Second session. First time. So we found ironically the easy solution for that.
That's good.
And we continue on for the third session, which was in Gatlistown, which was part of it's the third session, which was in Gatlistown, where we get to another sort of underlying plot within the series. So during the fight against the Minotaur, Ivan's string broke on his lute.
Oh no!
And he had to get it repaired. So what he ends up doing is we ended up splitting up the party with several of us. So it was Jalorm and Amber, Cross and Jaminia. So Amber and Jalorm went to the blacksmith to sell an axe, and as well as upping the. I'm trying to think what I was gonna say. and improving our weapons and making sure we get improving our weapons. Faye Thurin and Faye Thurin and Owen went to the apothecary to one, grab a couple of books, and also determine what the sleep venom was, as well as getting health potions and such. Went to let's see. Jaminia and Cross went to the town store to get some more supplies, and then Rose and Ivan ended up going to the tavern to one secure a meal for the party, as well as talk to tavern owner, see if we can get some strings.
Establishing some ships early, are we?
Actually not really. Though there were no ships at that point.
I know, but
Rose and Ivan were not a thing
yet.
No, they were never.
They were never. Oh, never mind.
No. You're thinking of Amber and Ivan were a thing.
Amber and Ivan, okay.
Yes.
But still, Cross and Jaminia.
Never was never going to happen.
Okay, I guess the only one that I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. No, it's all right. But yeah, that was.
Jalram and Faith, were they?
Didn't start off that way.
Okay.
It wasn't until much later. In the. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, no, that was a couple sessions later. But no. So yeah. So and what ends up happening at the tavern? Rose and Ivan, they're looking for guitar lute strings. And someone ended up buying the last two, and the tavern owner directed them to the person who had it. It was a fairly older gentleman by the name of Peter, and he offered the guitar string, for Ivan. I forgot if he ended up buying it off of them or. The trade was okay, here you go, and if you like to trade in song. And we get the first iconic natural 20 of the campaign, where Finn rolls a nat 20, and they end up playing the guitar duet from August Rush.
Okay.
And it's so magnificent. Everyone all of a sudden listens in, and they end up getting a ton of money for it. And as a result, for their little duet, Peter offers as a trade as well a script for sheet music for a song.
Oh, that's cool.
And that song, which we end up playing later, is "Here Comes the Sun."
Aww.
But which Finn has pointed out is his favorite Beatles song.
Aww.
If not, I think his actually favorite song, if I'm correct. But yeah. So Peter gives him the song. We find out about something regarding Jalram's mother later, and we have to rescue her from a bunch of from what looks like a human trafficker.
Ooh.
Yeah, so she's bound, tied up, unconscious, as well as two other women who also appear to be they appear to be malnourished and not looking good. We offer them food, and then Owen finds skulls in the basement.
Never a good sign.
Yeah, it turns out those women are succubi.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we ended up knocking out one, and Jalram ended up killing the other one.
Ugh.
Yeah, not fun. But everything at that point was okay. Jalram's mom's okay, and then the following day we got our equipment, and we headed out west towards Selenia, which is Faye Thurin's hometown.
Okay.
Afterwards, we ended up in the following 3.5 session of 3.5 at that point. We ended up coming across another druid who appeared to be in stasis. And we ended up finding, and we were attacked by a will-o-wisp.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so that's all where we also learn that, I'm trying to remember what else. Oh yeah, we also learned that, a couple things. One, that Jiminy is a paladin, because Cross fell down a ditch.
Oh.
So we, after we, we're cleaning...
Probably should have left him there.
It was vital. He served his purpose. But yeah, so fell down a ditch, and Jiminy cast lay on hands, and we realized, oh, Jiminy is a paladin. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. So we technically have 4 healers on the team. So we have a cleric, we have a druid, a bard, and a paladin. And then the rest is DPS.
Right. DPS being
damage per second.
Okay.
Yes. So afterwards, so we found out about that. We went into the will-o-wisp. We're kind of getting our ass kicked. By the way, I forgot to ask. What's the language thing for the stream? Is it PG, PG-13, R? As long as I don't say anything derogatory.
PG.
PG? Okay. All right. So yeah,
all I'm saying is you won't find it on the YouTube Kids app.
All right, that's fine. But yeah, we're getting our butts kicked. Turns out, she has the druid actually has a connection to Rose. She goes by I'm trying to remember what her initial name was. But it turns out her thing was that she was afraid to get involved. And she ends up trying to get she ends up getting the druid's attention, and she disappears the will-o-wisp for us because it's a fake. It ends up being a fake creature that was it's sort of I forgot what their So what ends up happening is we stop the combat with the will-o-wisp, and the druid, I think her name was Lana. She gives us she gives Shiloh, the Rose's dog, a bit of protective armor. Which was a nice thing. Afterwards, we reach the Elven Council in the following episode.
Okay.
And we basically explain what the situation is with some of the elves that are there. So there's gray elves, dark elves, wood elves. I forgot what all the elven races were, but I think that was part of one of the things we were looking at. And they're the jungle elf.
Which is what Jalrama?
Jalrama's hit the council for them was missing at that point.
Oof.
So they were dealing with their own crap at that beforehand. So basically their whole thing is that they're trying to make sure everyone's on board for this council, and most of them are on board, but we have to make sure that... Oh, right, Saurians were also part of that. And one thing we have to take care of was there was a monster in a cave that we had to deal with, which was a Glimmer Cloak. And this is where the Jalrun with his Nat 1 bad luck came in, where he kept on falling down.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so... Yep, and we also met, along the way, we've also met another character, NPC character, goes by a pixie. Was it Pixie? Yes. A pixie named Beleen. They are very feisty. I believe they show up a little bit further down the line as well. And then afterwards, so we stayed overnight. There was a couple of things and then a couple things start happening over the course of the campaign. So we end up like all of our characters start having bad dreams. So Amber ends up having to deal with a group of spiders. Then I believe Jalaram was stuck in the arena. I was stuck in the arena and has to, face his mom in combat. He's essentially forced to do the deed. Believe the next one, Faith Thurin had. Sure, it was Faith Thurin first or what? Yeah, I think it might have been Faith Thurin first. She had. I think she was back in the jail cell where she was had to submit to Arkoth. But eventually we start seeing Owen appearing in her dreams, trying to attempting to save us. Same thing happened with Cross in the later session. Then Ivan, Jaminia had a session with Owen, which was a little bit more on the peaceful side, and then Rose ended up having hers in season 2. So afterwards, so we ended up being the Glimmer Cloak in the 5th one, and then we were continuing our way towards Sabaton. Of course, everyone who's in the music scene knows Sabaton is a reference to the metal band, but I think there was also there was another reason why it was called Sabaton. I forgot the reason. We ended up meeting. It's basically a giant human city. I think 90% humans, and we end up meeting Peter again. And he had one of his friends, Amontolo, who was sort of like this, also kind of this sort of like this jokester character who's also a bard like Ivan and Peter. And he's actually ended up causing trouble. Then we end up having a thing meeting the king. And it turns out that he was under the influence of fey creatures and the Cheshire Cat.
That was... Oh, wait, is that the one where he played the deleted Alice in Wonderland song, I'm Odd?
Yes. Yes, he was under the influence of the Cheshire Cat.
I remember, that moment just sticking out because, I remember hearing that song in an Alice in Wonderland DVD feature based on deleted content.
Yep. So that scene was pretty funny. And that's also where Cross met a guy named Oliver who was really into the hunt because he was also looking for somebody to help out, take out will-o-wisps since they're kind of they're sort of like an invasive species where they really shouldn't be there. And for his help, Oliver offers him a black arrow, which has the ability as return properties. Once you fire it, it comes back to you.
Okay.
Afterwards, we make our way. Remember where we make our way next? Right, we head back to Gatlas and then south towards Mirrored Port, which is a port. Again, it's a seafaring city, but there is nobody there whatsoever. It's kind of abandoned. And we end up going to, we end up meeting Salic as well as, who is the tavern owner. He's, I forgot if he was an amputee, but I think he was an amputee. And his, I don't want to say bar wench, but more like his partner, she went by a Marta. And turns out she's a silver dragon.
Oh.
Yep. She ends up, she takes us to this, sort of like this maze, or not maze, it's like a place of riddles, called, I've got the exact name of it. I forgot the exact name was, but I think it was either a labyrinth or something like that. I think it was the labyrinth. we end up having to go in it to to go in and try and retrieve something for Salic. It was our next way through journey. Except we the thing that was in there.
What was in there?
Was a Balor. It is a fire demon, and we were very underleveled.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was it wasn't good. We were at I think at that point we were level 5 or 6. Going in, we were.
What level was the fire demon thing?
15.
Wow.
Yeah, it was not fun. So we're going through. So we have to basically go through basically this maze of puzzles and riddles. Mm-hmm. So while the Balor is on our rears. So the first thing we're in order to pass through is a traditional Sphinx. So he reads us the riddles, we answer them, we pass through. Second is this weird looking door that has a weird looking door that has like a giant face over it. And the idea is that we have to make it say monkey. So we're having trouble trying to get this thing to to say monkey. So Jao is like, hey, ooh, ooh, ah, ah. It's like, everyone's looking at me weird. It's like, what are you doing? And then the door's like, why is he acting like a monkey? Done. Door's open.
You did it.
Go on through. The next one was a room with a giant treasure chest.
Was a mimic.
That was a mimic that ate Faye Thurin's bird. Don't worry, he's fine. Yeah, we couldn't get out of that, so what ends up happening is the Balor smacks the mimic into the door, and we basically make a break for it.
Right.
We end up doing basically what ends after that is we have to hide from the Balor, and but for the record, I cannot listen to Godsmack's "I Stand Alone" without thinking of the Balor coming through, because that's what Josh played for the Balor music.
Oh.
So yeah, not fun. So afterwards, we come across a couple of other things. I'm trying to remember what was the first one. But I believe there was a door. The riddle for that one, you come across a couple of swords, and we had to find the one that imbues strength. So there was a fox, a bull, I think a bird, an eagle, and something else. And we ended up picking the right one. We grabbed the sword that has the bull, which offers strength. Poke through the sword and poke through the door, and we're through.
Okay.
And then afterwards, we come across a gap.
Okay.
Which was which is like a 50-foot gap. There's no way you can rope across because our rope's just shy. So we ended up either flying across or using I think it was a floating disc to get across one at a time. But again, Balor's on our rear, so we realize, the floor is not there. It's invisible. There's a little platform we come across. So once again, we have to hide from the Balor. And this is where the campaign takes a turn, and for the long run. So
what happened?
So Amber gets caught in the Balor's sight. She's unable to hide. Jaminia, being the character and Josh being the character NPC, Josh decides to step in and offer some defense.
Okay.
Except every single one of the Balor's attacks would automatically hit because their attack AC would automatically hit every single one of ours. And in doing so, the Balor got critical damage on Jaminia and instantly died.
Dang.
So, yeah, at that point, we were kind of screwed. So, because our objective, our main objective to put her back on the throne is kind of screwed at the moment. It is screwed. We're kind of we are foobar, fouled up beyond repair. So we have to get to the end of the end of the maze, which reaches a well, which reaches a wishing well. Okay. Every time you make a wish, the water decreases in the well. So we're trying to get to this. Meanwhile, the Balor once again is on our tails. So everyone is breaking for this well, and each time we have to be specific with our wishes. So the first one was a portal out of here. But again, because we're in specific, it's just there's a portal that gets you out of here. Second wish.
Where does it lead you?
We don't know yet. We don't know. So the second wish, Phaethon makes this wish, and she wishes for the Balor to not be in the labyrinth anymore, and it disappears. So officially we were safe. Mm-hmm. At that point, turns out the Cheshire Cat shows up again and explains the wishing well. Like, you have to be specific with their wishes, and as we keep going. So Jalrim amends the portal wish, so we're back in Salix Tavern.
Okay.
For one. Then I believe Owen makes.
You could do that. You could edit your wish.
Yeah, you can amend the wish. Because there's a massive thing of water that you depending on how specific you are. Because, for example, we just want a portal out of here, a little bit drops. If you're specific with a wish, it'll drop a little bit. It'll drop a lot more.
Okay.
So
I was about to say, that sounds like cheating.
No, we were allowed to do that. So we amend the wish to I amend the wish that someone made. I forgot who did it. We're out of the portal, to inside Salix Tavern.
Okay.
We'll explain what happens after that. Then Owen makes the wish of it has to be very specific with this one. Wish for the revival of Jaminia to the state she was in just before the Balor struck her. And that, which was good, except she was paranoid. Oh gosh, I'm gonna die. And she was 100% shaken at that point. Aww. And then the last thing involved Cross. He made, I think it was either one or two wishes. One of them was to restore prosperity back to Mirrored Port.
Okay.
As well as evidence of the Balor existing inside the labyrinth, which was Salix's whole thing. So he wished for the blood of the Balor on a specific type of sword. I think it was a demon slaying sword. And give it back to Salic. Mm-hmm. So everything's done. We're all shaken up. Head back to Salix Tavern, and we're all squeezed into one bedroom when we portal.
There's only one bed.
There's only one bed.
Wait, I was joking.
No, we were all just in one bed. We were just squeezed into one bedroom. Oh. So think from Dragon Ball Broly, where everyone just pops in unannounced back in the Capsule Corp ship after the planet explodes. Then we go check up on Amarda, who's perfectly fine, a little worse for wear, but does give Amber a set of healing gloves. So if anything happens to her to any of the party, she's able to basically cast Lay on Hands.
Okay.
Yep. Afterwards, the next session, we level up. This was the first time that Doc's brother Tarek, he guest GMs for us. Okay. And this was, I believe, our longest session at the time. I think it was going on for, that was probably 6.5 hours, if I recall.
Wow, your sessions go for long.
Back then we did, but now they go about 4.5 hours.
Still, they're long.
Yeah. So, yep, everything's back to normal, sort of. But this is where Jalaram, like, his character gets the next bit of development. He gives essentially a reasons you suck speech. Basically saying, like, we were not a team back in the labyrinth. We need to be a lot more cohesive. So, and so, like, Jalaram gives his faults, Cross, Phaethor, and Rose he actually doesn't have anything for, because he actually puts, like, at the time, I think he had the most trust in Rose.
Okay.
And then, if I recall, didn't say a lot to Ivan. Basically saying, like, not like there might become a time where you're not going to be able to save everybody. And basically gives gives the reason you suck speech. And Rose actually comes in to say, okay, that being said, everyone actually did something really well, like, in the labyrinth, despite everything going to crap.
Oh.
And so we're heading towards Golgari, which is Jalaran's home. And also during this time, I believe Jalaram's also given a task regarding Faye's father. Regarding he's alive and looking for her.
Oh.
Yeah, the dude's not
Not
good.
a good guy.
Not whatsoever. So he's basically given the task as essentially his bodyguard. Which start off kind of reluctant because, oh good, I have more jobs to do.
Woohoo!
So we enter the Golgari forest, and we come across an evil tree called the Night Twist. And this one took forever to, like, finally take down. So we basically it took a lot of effort because I believe piercing damage and slashing damage was not going to do a lot to it. So you had to basically take it down with elemental attacks, specifically fire, which we were able to do.
That's good.
But also at the same time, it's like, okay, we were kind of getting overwhelmed, so we needed help. So reluctantly, Jalaram calls for Phaethor and Bird Lucid to find I'm trying to remember the guy. Find Théoden Tamliel. We need the help. He flies off, and then returns back and points at the tree.
What?
Yeah, it turns out that the Night Twist absorbed him.
Oh.
There is nothing more than his skeleton and a note and a couple of items, including I forgot what was also part of that. But basically he's saying that I wish I could have cared for you more. Like, I wish I could have cared for you more. I was disappointed that you left. And at that point, this is where the connection starts for Phaethor and Jalaram. Phaethor is like, oh, you have it bad as okay, you've had it bad as well. So we return to Golgari. We find out. You right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so return to Golgari, and stay for the night. Have to talk to the queen of the jungle elves, who's not nice. she's kind of mean, kind of a stuck up, because she cares about her own people. But before then, we end up meeting two people. One of them, again, another half elf rogue, and his best buddy, who is a traditional high elf, with the blonde hair, blonde hair, pale skin, pointy ears, and I believe they are. I think it's like Evan. I think the rogue's name was Evan, and it's like, haha, I caught you. That was fun. And he gives Jalaram what is claimed to be his father's short sword. It goes by the name of Quick Strike. And later on, he imbues a bit of lightning damage into the sword, and that's so that's where the quick as lightning thing comes from. So we sleep for the night. I believe Cross has his bad dream, or no, Ivan has his bad dream just before the labyrinth, and then Jaminia has her. She has her little therapy session with Owen, aka Doc.
A moment with Dr. Owen.
Yes. Yes. And then we end up having like this nightmare where everything is on fire. Everyone wakes up in a hot sweat, and we end up going to the worst part of season 1. Which was this ziggurat. I forgot the exact name of it. But we hit every single freaking trap in that thing. Because my trap sense was not working.
Oh no. All the crit ones?
No, like we didn't hit the the DC. We didn't hit the difficulty class.
Oh.
So all my rolls sucked. So, I fall down, so Jalaram falls 100 feet into a pit.
Down some stairs?
No, pit.
Oh.
At
least there wasn't stairs this time.
No, that was considerably worse. I got my butt kicked. Then afterward, what was it? 4 of us got hit with chain lightning. By stepping on a platform. Cross ended up hitting a motion sensor that blasted that overwhelmed him. He got a face full of heat, as well as his snake companion, which was his not exactly Beastmaster subclass, but he ends up getting a snake.
Huh.
Yeah, he ends up getting a snake, and it gets a blast full of fire, which is, despite being warm-blooded, is not good.
Uh-oh.
And for snakes.
That stinks.
And then finally, we hit almost every single trap, and then finally we hit my trap sense works, because we finally found the freaking pendulum trap. It's like, you know what? No. Done. And then that's when we meet Phaethern's dad.
Ooh.
And we kicked his butt. Like, he did not hit us once.
Okay.
But also, he also summoned what's known as the Nightmare Beast, which is this massive honker of I think it's an apparition. I have to look at the... No, it's probably like a summon or something like that. But yeah, so we end up beating this Nightmare Beast, or at least knocking it out. So it's at 0. It's unconscious. And afterwards, we we had to polymorph. Like, the way we defeated Arkoth is we baleful polymorphed him into a puppy. Yep. So we polymorphed into a puppy. Phaethor gave him the riot act, saying, "What the hell is going on?" And then he disappears.
Aw.
So we still had to deal with the Nightmare Beast thing, and apparently that was since it was a 0, it's like, okay, we'll just immolate it and we're done. That was a no-no.
Uh-oh.
Yes, because that was part of Rose's mantra. Like, is to, even though this thing tried to harm us, we can't hurt. Like, it's the thing not to hurt these creatures. Like not to kill these creatures, which ends up coming up later on in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to. So this is where we're still in murder hobo mode at this point. When season 2 comes along, we're going for, okay, let's see if we can follow this diplomatically. Let's find the easier solution, and not go straight for the kill.
Right.
And then came Optimar, the finale to season 1. This is where things start to go wrong for the group. So at this point, we pretty much have every race that we know of.
Okay.
Every race that we know of regarding Alatasca, except for the dwarves. And Owen is very hesitant about being back there. Since it is his hometown, they're very strict. So he disguises as this. So he has to put on like a disguise and has to bluff his way as this drunkard goes by. Was it Vorg? I think it was Vorgren. No, it wasn't Vorgren Vineblight. It was. I forgot the guy's name. The guy's first name, but the last name is Vineblight. And there's this wanted poster that we see on this wanted poster looking for this guy named Vorgren Vineblight. And apparently the guy was responsible for regicide. So okay, we put this in the back burner. Like, if we can find this guy, there'll be a reward, and maybe we'll help out the king. And it turns out, so we sort of get the king on our side, and then he takes a swig of his drink, and he's poisoned.
Ooh.
So Rose rushes over to help him to extract the poison or heal the poison.
Mm-hmm.
And we're basically put in a lineup to make sure there's no other magical artifacts on us.
Mm-hmm.
And once it gets to Jaminia, she falls to the floor, and it turns out she was wearing a mask this whole time.
Ooh.
And we see, and that's where the big reveal of she's a tiefling, and that's what, again, because Devilborn, not a good look. Jaminia leaves, we all leave, and we're trying to, so basically that's where that session ends, but we end up fighting Jaminia. And that's where we're introduced to Star J, who is her mount, which is a Blackwing Pegasus. And the whole thing is that we have to calm her down. We cannot for the life of us fight her. This was where the turn of we cannot go for the quick and easy solution of killing this person. We have to go a different route. So each one of us says something using our own diplomacy, saying our own diplomacy. So like we're saying, we care for you, we care for our goal, we care for your goal, we care for your mission, which brings everything down. Mm-hmm. And it turns out Simula was the one who poisoned the king.
Of course.
And killed the and ended up killing the rest of the council, including the king's wife.
Ugh.
And that's where season 1 ended, with us on
regicide.
Us regicide. The king is okay, but we are now fugitives of Optimar.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's how that season 1. Season 2 is where the return, is basically starts off with us trying to come back. Like, okay, we got to come back from this. We have to figure out how are we going to get all of our stuff. And also forgot one more thing.
What?
At the end of the session, of the previous session, everyone, like, a couple of people start appearing again, including Lana, Peter, and I think was it just Lana and Peter? Yeah, Lana, Peter, and I believe Oliver doesn't show up until later. Lana and Peter show up.
Okay.
And they reveal to us as gods. So Lana is actually Alona, a god of druids. Peter is actually the sun god Pelor.
Wow.
I believe Evan is Erevan, who is Jalrim's deity. Oliver is Solinar, who is Cross's deity. Amarda is Tamara, but we eventually just call her by Amarda because we kept on forgetting. Mm-hmm. The person who was beside Erevan during at the end of the tree session was Corellin, who was Phaethurn's deity. Mm-hmm. We had also meeting this guy named Herod, who is under the name Heronius, who is the god of paladins. And then we're also sort of like convinced that sort of Amontolo is a deity, but we couldn't figure out who he belonged to at that point. And then it turns out they've been, for our deeds, they've given us gifts to achieve certain statuses. So the sword, so we end up getting the sword, the armor for Shiloh, the black arrow. All of those were gifts to the gods because that's the only way they can interact with the group without breaking a certain pact. So that's how that went. Afterwards, season 2 starts off us in the dumps, just trying to get things back. Jowler makes the idea is like, okay, we're out of ideas. We can't find anything specifically on this map. Why not try somewhere else that's not depicted on this particular map? So we decide to head south over the ocean.
Uh-oh.
So we had to find a ship back in Mirrored Port. Bump into Amarda, bump into Tamara, who's kind of making a break for it. So we all follow her onto her ship, and then she starts setting sail. I'm putting this in quotations. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to, go south to someone who can help us out there. So we end up, doing a bunch of digging regarding Geminia's family, regarding her lineage, what's going on there. We also basically completed all the books that were given to us, and we end up on the rough waters. We end up fighting a kraken.
Uh-oh.
Yes, it is one of the most epic fights in all of the in all Brony D&D. In fact, if you go to, I think it's either the Brony D&D fan page on DeviantArt, or if you check out Lightning Bliss's, I think if you check out Lightning Bliss's DeviantArt, you will see a picture of this giant dwarf, a dragon, and a tiefling on a Pegasus fighting this kraken, and it is one of the most metal things you will ever see. We end up being the kraken to where it's where it's like like badly injured to near death, and we basically convince it to stop attacking it, like basically stop attacking us, and we continue onward. At that point, we were doing experience share, and we didn't get any experience for that because we didn't actually slay the Kraken.
Oops.
Yeah, so we didn't get any experience for that, but afterwards we end up on Autumnfire Isle, where we end up meeting the Fire Elves. This is the last chance of, like, getting an army for Dominia to, take back the crown. And we end up doing trials. In order to win over the Fire Elves, we have to end up doing trials related to like something regarding us. So I forgot what each of the names were. Like so the first one was like a trial of strength. So we were all, and the Cheshire Cat ends up showing up again. And they basically is like, okay, we don't want any help, but we'd offer a hint to who do you think would be best for this trial. So the first trial is a 2-on-1 fight between it's a 2-on-2 fight between the princess of the Fire Elves and her hubby, who is a sapphire dragon.
Ooh.
Yeah, so the way that the dragon hierarchy rules as far as dragon alignment goes is that the good dragons are metallic, so gold, bronze, silver, copper. They're the good dragons.
The evil ones are gemstone based?
No, evil are chromatic. The chromatic.
Oh, okay.
So the red dragons, red, blue, green, black, and white. Like the chromatic dragons.
Oh, the Magic the Gathering colors.
Think more like Tiamat. Tiamat is like the evil god of dragons, while Bahamut is the good god of dragons.
Okay.
And then in the center is the gem dragons. These are the neutral ones. So the sapphire dragon ends up being lawful neutral. So he's dedicated to I think his name was Suzanne. He's dedicated to the task. He's a lot bigger than Amber at this point. So she hulks up to about 3 feet larger. He's about 10 feet larger than him.
Oh crap.
Yes. So
Wait, what about the gems? Wait, what about the dragons that are named after gemstones, like the sapphire dragon?
yeah, they are neutral. So
Okay.
the gem dragons are in the neutral. So lawful neutral, true neutral, and chaotic neutral.
Okay.
So so the first thing that happens, and each one of us has a shining moment for us. So the first one that ends up happening is that Amber basically uppercuts the guy so hard that he flips over. He basically shoryukens him.
Oops.
So the whole thing is like, the Fire Elf princess is like, oh, I see you have a dragon. Mine's bigger. Then all of a sudden, uppercuts him, uplifts him. It's like, yeah, ours hits harder.
Aww.
Hello, Ryan.
TG channel, hello. How's everyone doing? Also, happy Easter. We're doing good, thank you.
Yeah, so
You came in the middle of comparing dragon sizes. Although, if you ask me, dragon size doesn't matter.
It's how hard you punch.
Yes.
And then afterwards, there was a moment where, let's see, I believe Owen had the dragon grappled. So the Fire Elf princess launches out a giant firebolt at them. Now, dwarves are not necessarily dexterous. Owen rolls a nat 20. Rolls over while grappling the dragon, and basically lights up the underbelly of the dragon until he yields. And that's how we win the first battle.
Oh.
Yeah. So, one down. One down. We got to win. The next was a battle. Was battling a giant troll. Well, sorry, no, was battling a giant. The guy was think about like 20 or 30 feet tall. That was Cross's ability. So basically, he had to climb the dragon and take it out via its limbs and whatnot. Mm-hmm. The next one was basically follow the instructions. that was for Faye Thurin. So basically, just follow the instructions, do what you got to do. Like if you can follow instructions, like you're on our side. And next was a performance battle between Ivan and Amontolo, which was again a battle of the lutes.
Battle of the bands.
Battle of the bands. And it starts off a little hard because Amontolo starts playing the guitar riff to Through the Fire and Flames by Dragon Force.
Oh.
And then Ivan counteracts, does a little bit better, uses the acoustics in the room. Then Amontolo breaks out like several instruments and starts playing the overture to Beauty and the Beast.
Aww.
Then Ivan gets a nat 1 and breaks a string.
Wait, what? Who got a nat 1?
Ivan got a nat 1. But here's the thing about Ivan.
What?
He steps up to the audience like, I could not do this, but it was more of just the opportunity to perform for you. Everyone stands up and gives a standing ovation for Ivan, and he wins off of a nat 1.
Okay, that was sweet.
And then we get to Jalarim's trial.
I'm over there.
Gosh. Okay, so his task is to basically use his cunning and take out every single cave troll that's in its vicinity. Granted, they don't have the. This is, I think, the version where they take out the. You have to kill it with fire. So basically, just kill it and you're good. So, Jalarim has to basically go through like 3 levels of cave trolls. The first instance, he ends up. He has to use his stealth, his cunning, and using a sneak attack to basically take out every one of these guys. So the first time, he accidentally trips, falls down a level, right in front of a cave troll. So I have to think on my feet here because I'm about to get my butt kicked by a cave troll. So the first thing that comes to mind is Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's like, wait a minute, hang on a second. This worked in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's try it here. It's like, first thing I thought it said was, I'm over there, and pointed behind the troll. The cave, I succeeded on my deception, and the cave troll just turns around. Like, it should not have worked, but it did. So yeah, go through the whole thing. So basically go through that. So yeah, basically end up going through the whole thing. Fighting off a bunch of the cave trolls using my bluff. Basically going at it like Metal Gear, Splinter Cell, and Rambo style. Get to the final one. Have a bit more of a trouble. I'm getting whacked, and I get the bright idea to. Now remember I talked about that sleep venom back in session 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I decided hang on, I'm going to use this. Wait a minute, I have something to my advantage here. I'm going to try and knock this guy out, or at least convince him to knock himself out.
Hello, Tier Justice. I'm just listening to my boyfriend talk about his D&D campaign, and we are currently in Season 2 of said campaign.
Yes. So, Season 2, I rolled a nat 20 to convince a cave troll to drink poison. You look thirsty. Here, drink this. Okay, glug.
Thank you.
And then
Dead.
Knocked unconscious.
Oh, okay.
And then we get to whatchamacallit. And then finally it was Rose's task, where the fire elves show that they're working on a new form of firearm. In fact, it's called the blunderbuss.
Okay.
It's basically it's a shotgun that has a giant. You ever seen the elephant guns in?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically that. Points it at the cave troll that's knocked out, blows off its head.
Oof.
And then she's given the task to fire it at Shiloh.
Oh no!
Yeah, she utterly refuses. And so in order to show that she means business, well, like, Rose is so committed to not harming not harming Shiloh, she turns the gun on herself and pulls the trigger.
Oh no.
It's not loaded. It's a one shot. It's like a bolt action rifle. You need to reload it every single time. Everything's fine.
Okay.
And we secure. And at that point, we secure our task in getting the army for Geminia.
Yay!
So we're transported back a little bit outside of. I want to say it's like a little bit north. I want to say of a little bit north and west of Sabaton is where we ended up. Sorry, no. Was it? Yeah, I think that was it. And we so we end up, we're back in Atlas. We got everybody, and all of a sudden we hear a faint "Help me!" And we look around the corner. There's a little shack, and we see Simula crucified. The big bad is strung up like a cross. Strung up on a cross. So, happy Easter, everybody! So next session, Simula's in our party, and we're basically we're given a task to go to Hawthorne Tower, which is which I mentioned before. This is where Amber's character gets a lot of character development, because this is essentially her birthplace. So we're going through the tower. We have to deal with all of the magical traps and whatnot. And we end up finding essentially like Hawthorne's journal, which basically, if I recall correctly, this is where we learn about what Amber's life was like before then. Hawthorne calls her a little cookie monster. Yeah, so that's where we left off for that. And this is also where we start the romance for Ivan and Amber.
Aww.
This is around that point where they start. The next session is where we get to the schedule conflicts, because certain people couldn't make it to certain days, so we had to split the party in order to make sure we get enough session for everybody. So half the party ended up going to. So half the party was in one place and half the party was in another place. So at one point, we apparently were in the middle of a pixie. Basically in pixie territory, and pixies are chaotic. Well, they poofed us out, and half of us went one place, half the other party went another place.
Okay.
So.
Come on, it's not I tend to be naughty split.
Yeah. So one half went to a different continent all entirely. So this is where we end up in Urnian in the middle of the frickin' desert.
Uh-oh.
So that was Jalarum, Rose, Phaethern, and Geminia ended up in the frickin' desert in Urnian. And we had to basically find a way to get back. So we end up meeting a couple people. We end up meeting this archaeologist named Arvin. He takes us to Arvin. Yeah, no relation to Pokemon.
Oh, darn it! I was about to say, why does that name sound so familiar?
I realized a second, oh yeah, we did that beforehand. But yeah, this is where we end up splitting the party. So we're in the desert, and the other people are in the mountains. So the first is one group is more what's the word I'm looking for? Is more story based in their quests. So we're more exploring temples and going through forests. So the first thing we go up against is a very giant skeleton. Not exactly a lich. because he's undead, but he doesn't have the ability. Well, actually, he technically could be a lich, but he is like the form of a ancient king by the name of King Bazaar, as we find out. And it turns out that we're a little early to meet this guy. So we end up pushing the guy into like a giant fountain. And then he comes to his senses, like, oh, I realized I screwed up. I'm able to communicate with the guy through sign language, saying, okay, you're not ready here. When are we going to be ready? It's like when everyone's united. Okay. So that task is taken care of. And then the next portion is we go to a forest, where we're going to a city that is overrun by nature, essentially. So basically what happens if poison ivy takes over.
Oh. In the Harley Quinn show?
No, I'm thinking more poison ivy in Batman the Animated Series.
Okay.
Yeah, she basically and they go to, and then we have to figure out what the cause is of this nature, of this overgrowth of nature. And this is actually Rose's story arc. Like, this has Rose's story potential, because the person that is that is causing this is a corrupt druid who also believes that humanoids are a blight on nature, and he goes to the absolute extreme by summoning a T-Rex.
A what?
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
What?
Yes. And then Jamindy gets eaten, and then she carves out, and then she carves a hole out of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then Jamindy Tyrannosaurus Rex eat the druid, and it's really cool. and that is the story behind and that's the story behind that portion of the group. The other group is stuck in the mountains, so they have to deal with a bunch of puzzles. So their stuff is all puzzle based, and it took a while for them to get through all the puzzles. Let's just say, and that's also where we meet Amber's birth father.
Aww.
And what's interesting about him is that he is a white dragon, which most people can say, oh, wait, hang on a second, he's a chromatic dragon, shouldn't he be evil? Misconception. Again, going back to the whole racism thing. Which, and again, if you watched which also has a little thing in the prequel campaign, with how Amber's parents met. If you ever saw the Brony D&D session at BronyCon 2019, there was a bit of racism and sort of like distrust between the Gold Dragon Caladrius and the White Dragon Varag. So that's where that comes from. And essentially we go to the Dragonland, and that group also goes to the Dragonland. So it's Cross, Ivan. Yeah, so it's Cross, Ivan, Owen, Amber, and Simula. They end up in the Dragonlands, and they end up doing. And if I recall, this is where we're slowly getting back to. We're almost together, so we get to see if we can get the dragons on our side. What ends up happening is we meet these two dragon lovers. One's a red dragon, one's a gold dragon. Again, for like a Romeo and Juliet situation.
Aww.
And they end up falling in love in a hot spring. It was very nice. And then Arkoth shows up. The nasty warden dude. He pulled a Full Metal Alchemist and fused them together.
Oh no.
So so this is also where we're starting to see Cross's heel turn, sort of. Like, it's sort of like he started being his corrupt nature is coming back. And he is convinced by Simula to do the go for the quick solution and kill them. But Ivan goes for the... this is funny. Ivan goes for the diplomatic solution and plays their wedding song to get them to snap out of it. Because even though they are fused together. And it worked.
Yay!
And funny thing, and a little note about that point, Josh didn't come up with an easy solution for that. Finn came up with that on his own, and he rolled with it.
Aww.
So in return, the dragons are now on our side.
Yay!
Next session is an infamous one. Everyone comes back together.
Okay.
Everyone comes back together, and whatchamacallit? Yeah, the group comes back together. We go to, and this is where we start our journey up to Ivan's home in the cloud city called Humelis. And this is where we get to the infamous scene of Solinar asking Cross to return his black arrow because he's basically essentially fallen astray. This would be the equivalent of a paladin's deity taking away its oath. But he refused. And this is a point where you can technically attack
a god.
Like a god can attack a mortal. Like, okay, you're leaving me no choice. You disobey. You've offended me. You crossed me. I'm within my right to harm a mortal, and he accidentally harms Jaminia, and in turn Simula as well.
Because
they're linked. Twin link. And also because Simula at this time was pregnant. So he accidentally harmed 2 lives, and as a result, obliterated.
Ooh. Wait, wouldn't that be 3 since baby?
Well, no. Jiminy technically interfered, so he sort of was in his right, but that was more of a gray area. Simula wasn't part of the action, and
okay.
And the baby was not. So that time we realized, gods can die if they interfere, or something else happens. So that ended up so that session kind of ended on a dour note. But the following session we should remember I got this right. We end up meeting Rayan. This was Cross's son, who is also Sunshine Baby, and offers cookies, and they are delicious.
Oh, speaking of, do you want me to preheat the oven for our cookies?
We'll do it after dinner.
Okay.
That ends up happening with Cross, and he has to go through his own arc, as well as Jalaram, because this is also the point where, this is where I discovered, there are subclasses or prestige classes if you meet certain marks. And now in the 3.5 actual official handbook, rogues can become assassins, but you have to be of a certain alignment. You have to be evil, and can't really do that. At least I didn't want to do that. So I managed to find a homebrew version of that called the Daggers of Light, where they are good assassins, and that was his whole test for given to him by Jalaram's mom to become an assassin. He had to basically kill Cross because of his actions. And
hindsight's a bitch.
Hindsight's a bitch. But this was like his giant character moment. am I really going to do this? And ultimately, Jalaram said no. He's not going to kill someone over a single mistake. And that led him to becoming a Dagger of Light. And afterward, and also that's also the session where we have the final send off of the return battle of Faye's dad. Yeah, he transformed himself into a Rakshasa. We have to fight him off. We end up succeeding. But Faye's dad ends up dying. And this is also the session where officially
they get together.
Faye and Jalaram are a couple. So the first instance was Jalaram kisses her on the head, saying that I'm okay. Mm-hmm. After the whole ordeal across, and then the second is regarding Faye's alignment, because she in the story had no alignment, and one of the things is that she's basically given the task of reforming, I guess, the tieflings, so that they are separated from their connection to Asmodeus, who's the eventual big BBEG, big bad at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. So, but in order to do the sanctification ceremony, they had to be lawful good. If they tried to do it, bad things could happen. So, so this weird funky dude who's kind of an elf, he tries to give the alignment thing, comes through. He basically goes over and gives everyone's alignment. So lawful good for a couple things over. So goes over Jalaram, chaotic good. Goes to Amber, lawful good. Ivan, lawful good. Cross, unaligned. Doesn't know exactly where he is right now. Gemenia, lawful good. Paladin, makes sense. But the two big reveals. One, Owen is lawful neutral. Sorry, is chaotic neutral. Oh. He's not, he basically acts throughout the entire campaign that he's basically a cleric of chaos. But not chaotic good. He has his own agenda. So he's not Jester from he's not Jester from Vox Machina. He's his own dude. And then the other one is that it's revealed that Faye's alignment has changed from unaligned to lawful good, meaning she can cast the sanctification spell.
Yay.
And that's where she kisses Jalaram.
Aww.
Yep. Next session, we go back to Gatlas. This is where we have the assassin's ceremony. And then after that, we come back, realize we're still on the run because there's a bunch of dwarves in town. We're about to get attacked by the dwarven army, and guess who shows up?
The king?
The Balor.
Oh no.
The Balor shows up and ends up killing the king of Atamar, second in command. And and it's also revealed that you remember that Vorgren Vineblight poster I mentioned earlier?
Rearrange some of the letters.
And take away the V, you get Owen Lightbringer. And throughout the entire time, so what was the whole thing? We've been and those whole dream sequences, we've been experiencing bad luck every time we touched him.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the session we're also introduced to Corellin again in his actual form. And it's revealed that his gift to Phaethrin was her books.
Aww.
Yep. So basically, he's the author of the books that Faye is given, including her spell books. So, fight the Balor, we learned about a banishment spell, so we basically have to hold up all of our holy items. So, which includes Black Arrow, the sword, the books, the grimoire that Phaethon got, all of our holy pendants, all of our holy signs, and we banished this thing because it rolled a nat 1. We banished it. Everything is hunky-dory. We got the dwarves on our side. And this is also where Cross leaves because of real stuff. Anyway, afterwards, we go to fight Directy and go through the sewers. And we find Simula got captured again. We find her. She's worse for wear. And we basically have to fight Arkoth, who we think is the big bad. We end up defeating him, but Jalarim dies in the process.
I remember you talking to me about this, how everyone else leveled up, but you didn't because you died.
No, we feared that I might not level up because I'd actually lose a level if I died, but thankfully Josh got rid of that feature. So Jalarim dies, and he ends up, and it turns out Simula was still the mastermind this whole time. So she basically gets rid of the audience, sends them to hell, and
same thing with her baby.
Yeah, she kind of gives it a magical abortion. It's like,
now bear in mind, both of us are pro-choice.
Yes, pro-choice, and I'm not sure if Josh realized that at the time. I was like, you realize what you did, dude? And the final session of season 2 was 1, me coming back to life.
Hooray.
Because we needed the pure diamonds.
And
2, we had to basically fight the demons that Simula has summoned. And it's revealed that we have the ability to become demigods.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep. If certain conditions are met, the gods can bestow temporary demigod status, and one of those demigod, if the abyss is essentially opened up, the Demogorgon all of a sudden pops up, we have the ability to become demigods, and in certain and which also includes certain powers, which will appear in the next campaign. So afterwards, we have to fight Simula. We convince her to get sanctified, and season 2 is over. We get to everyone gets together. We have there's a little bit of romance between Amber and Ivan. What's we call it? Jalarim and Phaethon start plan their first date.
Aww.
Everything's hunky dory.
And then season 3 happens.
Yeah, and then Jemina gets dragged to hell by Asmodeus because she was not sanctified. Oh. Starting season 3. So season 3 is the 9 hells session. So this was another 10 episodes. 10 sessions. And we have to go through hell to save Gemania. So we have to go through each layer of hell in order to get there. So we enlist the help of a drow warrior, goes by the name of Ravis Arcanan, who's played by Luna Corva, and he is basically our guide to get to our guide through hell. Hello, DJ, and thank you for the anniversary wishes.
Hi.
So, at first, we have to go through Ribcage, which is on the Outer Plains, which is the entrance to Bator, which is hell. We have to fight the mayor, Quental Perix, and that session sucked because we could not hit the guy.
Oh.
It's only when Rose showed up again as a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and we ended up killing him, thankfully, because Rava stole all our nat 20s. So, first layer of hell, So, first layer of hell, we are in the first layer of Avernus. This is what you traditionally think of hell: hellfire, brimstone, etc. We have to talk to Bell and his wife Zariel. They are traditional lawful evil. They like to give out contracts, and they're all in on the demon fighting. So we ask for, hey, we'd like to help out in the cleanup since there's a couple of demons sprouting up everywhere. We write out exactly what we need to take care of, including a Balor, a couple like horned lizards and other types of devils that are technically considered demons. Wipe them out. We pass through. We got the coin to give the ferrymen. On to the second level. Second level is the layer of Diz.
Diz what?
I'm not going to finish that. This is the layer of Diz, and it is run by Despater. I forgot what his level is, but it's basically like this giant iron factory, shrouded in an illusion. This is also where we meet, this Curio guy, who turns out to be later to be Speculo Malum, aka Jamina's dad. But when you purchase an item from him, it does come with a little bit of a curse, which you can remove. No, DJ, no. And also it's spelt wrong. It's DIS. This is also where we find...
I was leading into a Discord joke.
Alright, but yeah, so second layer, we find out that Simula was also, after we sanctified her, she's on Diz. Because she managed to break out of the pure diamond. And, so at first we're thinking, oh crap, did the sanctification not work? Because that's probably not a good thing. So we go to Diz. We have to end up framing Diz's sister, daughter, of a murder, in order to get to the next level. Because we were kind of out of options at that point. We were kind of railroaded in. Yeah. Also, Despater is played by Vincent Price.
What?
Yeah, Josh uses Vincent Price for a voice for Despater.
Oh.
And it freaks Midnight Sonata out a lot.
Oh.
All right. Next level is the layer... I forgot the third layer. But the third layer is kind of like a swampy area, and we end up finding this other tiefling who's fairly young, also played by Aramal. Kind of a Cockney accent. I
wonder who this young little tiefling could be.
Yeah, and it turns out that's Simula's kid. She... I forgot what her original name was, but she ends up giving the name Hana. And she is a little bundle of... she's like a little bundle of chaos who does not like baths.
Aww. She's a little bundle of something.
She's a little bundle of muffin. If you've ever seen Bluey, I think that's like the best comparison I have to her. Yeah, she's kind of a chaos gremlin. So this is the third layer, and we end up meeting. So the third layer is we end up in Mammon's place. Have you ever seen Hell of a Boss? The guy is all on greed. Like that is the greed layer. Mm-hmm. For that layer, again, I'm kind of skimming through this portion because it is kind of
lengthy.
It's kind of lengthy. It's also kind of boring. So because each session we have our own little character development bits. As we keep going on, we learn about what Rob's backstory is. His goal is basically to kill Lolth, the Spider Queen. Since we figured out, gods can die. And then afterwards, so we defeat Mammon, and we also find Arkoth, who is nothing more than his armor. And anyone who's seen... So, remember that whole Full Metal Alchemist thing I talked about earlier regarding the Chimera?
Yeah.
Well, he got he got Alphonse Elric. So he is nothing more than a suit of armor.
A shell of his former self.
Exactly. Then, fourth layer. We end up on a layer of basically judgment. Where we meet... okay. If I can remember the name of the justice guy. We meet the guy who's in charge, who basically gives out... Yeah, basically punishment is his layer. And we meet his daughter, who is basically Harley Quinn. A.k.a. Fierna. And so we are given a task of either side with the daughter or side with the dad. Given Faye's daddy issues, we side with the daughter and go up and absolutely beat the ever-living crap out of the dad. Via the 6 layers boss, Glazia. She basically gives us free reign. Free reign to go. Afterwards, the next layer, we end up in Stygia, where we have the ability to either keep passing, or go on to the next level, or keep going down. So we end up meeting Saint Loudmouth, aka Saint Suviel, who is quite the how do I put this guy? He is quite a
character.
Quite a character. Like, he's extravagant. He loves to fight. Yeah, he looks to slaying devils and slaying demons. He is all in on it. And then we end up going through that layer. Gets a little bit colder, not too bad. And then we're trying to find this guy named Levistus. Basically, we need to either bring him into custody or kill the guy. So we keep him, and what ends up happening is we keep running to Saint Suviel. Now, me being the keen eye and knowing Josh's love of anagrams, I look in closely at Saint Suviel's name, and I realize, oh, he's been right in front of us this whole time. So I realize, oh, okay, here we go. Levistus is right in front of us. Let's go. Except we didn't know this at the time. Levistus accidentally fell into the river Styx, and he lost his memory. And Ravus took the opportunity to absolutely end him. And at the time realized, wait, I think we did a bad here. And this is which also leads to Owen's arc coming back to him because of the whole regicide thing. Like, this guy cannot be, like, of people who can be redeemed. And it results in Owen putting Ravus into a deep sleep. Basically, we were out without him for 2 layers of a campaign. So, next layer is Malbolge, which we basically had free reign to go through. And we end up meeting Glazia's level, which is a layer of lust. And you bet a lot of people were uncomfortable. In fact, the first time we touched a pillow, sat on a couch, Josh described it as the comfiest couch you have ever sat on. Everyone's like, no, get up. It's like, we are not succumbing to the wiles.
Nope.
We're not there. So yeah, we basically go through all that, and we learn that Glazia is Geminia's mom.
Aww.
And he fell in love with Speculo. The whole thing with the whole tiefling crap. That's essentially where they ended up. And it's also where Hana runs off. Because she gets in an argument with Faye about something. So she runs off, and she's taken somewhere. We don't know. We're then attacked by Driders. If everyone's played Baldur's Gate 3, they're basically half people, half spider people, which are basically Lolth's minions. And it resulted in Rose getting petrified.
Oh.
So
we take care of the Driders. We ended up, so basically we took care of the Driders. We put them back in the mansion. Yeah, but we sort of cured Rose after petrification. We got her unpetrified. And then we ended up on the probably the most intense layer. I forgot the exact name of it. But this is where we meet the toughest boss in Baalzebul, which is his thing is pride, and he ends up swallowing Hana after capturing him. Arkoth goes in to rescue him, and Jalar is basically given the sword to cleave to vivisect Baalzebul to get them out of his stomach. We do so. Amber smashes his brains in, and after getting Arkoth up, all of a sudden he starts feeling heavy.
The body came back.
The body came back, and it reveals the guy is magnificently handsome.
Oh no, he's hot.
Yep, and doing so, everyone gives their goodbyes. He's basically been redeemed. He's gone to Mount Celestia. And the final layer, in Nessus, I think is the name of it. Mm-hmm. All right, sorry, no, the layer after that, we finally wake up Ravus, and we get to meet Mephistopheles, the guy who's in charge of that layer. And he loves making deals, but he's sort of on our side because he also hates Asmodeus. So, in turn, he leads us to Lolth's lair. We had to go through a bunch of traps again. Thankfully, we all deserved. One of the final things was a maze where each layer, where each portion the spell was worse than the last. And so all three of us were all given a choice of what are you going to sacrifice to get to Lolth? So we had three options. One is our memories, our ability to procreate, or our lives. And this is around the time where it's official. We all want to have kids at that point. So I want to keep my memories. Everyone wants to keep their memories. So everyone goes through the inability to have kids route.
Bring your character in Shadows of the Old Republic.
Old World.
Shadows of the Old World.
Yeah. Right.
Considering your character in Shadows of the Old World, I'm guessing that was reverse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, doing so, we meet Lolth, and then we pull basically the same trick that we did on Stolinar. Basically, she tries to harm Ravus, but it turns out that was Simula the whole time.
It was Simula all along.
So yeah, she thought she was harming Ravus because technically it's a person of her what's the word I'm looking for? Person of her descent, person of her kind, which she kind of wrote in the pact. I'm allowed to do. But the fact that she was that Simula was disguised when she did that, she screwed up. And Lolth is no longer a problem. So, on to the final level, in Nessus, and where we get Geminia. So, we have to go through that whole maze. Asmodeus is not there. We have to basically not say what Asmodeus' name is. And, this is also where Jalrum proposes to Faye in hell. In a mansion in hell.
Romantic. You better not propose to me in hell.
I don't plan on. So that concludes, and then we end up going to Nessus. We find we go through the entirety of the palace, and to get a bunch of goods. We learn about future events regarding the Primeval Pact, and we also end up finding Geminia. She's free. She's worse for wear. Let's just say that. And she basically can't look at her own kind, including Hana, who's her niece. So we get out, and this is where we're about to get out, and this is where things get troubling. So as a result, Asmodeus finds us as we're just about to escape, and we have to end up fighting Speculo, who's inside of a very impenetrable armor. Then Asmodeus realized we win, like, the easy solution, because that's how we do. And, well, rather, the quick and better solution. Asmodeus hates that we went that way, and destroys Speculo.
Oh.
And as a result, he also destroys Mephistopheles, and shows that, and pulls out the head of Glazia.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Devils have a regenerative life cycle. If you die in hell, you're okay. But you're just basically on a timer to respawn, essentially.
No.
And we do, but there's only, in order to, make sure Jaminia and as well as Hana to come back with us, we have to make a deal with the devil. So we're given a task to do in the future to at his whim. But Amber steps in and says, I want another deal for Hana, and she's basically given a special deal.
Okay, what's the deal?
We don't know until much later. And as well, again, at a later date. So, Session 3 ends with us coming back, but also saying you really don't want to go back home right away.
You mean Season 3?
Yeah, Season 3. Season 3 ends with Asmodeus saying you really do not want to go home right away. Because we end up, as we wake up, we are back in Urnian, and it's 20 years later.
Oh.
Yeah, we hit a time jump, but we don't age. And several things have happened in the future. For that matter, there is a civil war among the elves. The kingdoms of Sabaton and Directian have basically split sides.
Oh.
It's not a good sign. We end up and also it turns out Rose is dead. Like, we didn't save her in time after the petrification. We had to go through a ceremony to descend her off. And
I'm guessing that was how we wrote Sweetie Bloom out of the campaign.
Yeah, well, she was gone a while ago. But yeah, she was gone a while ago before that, and it was. I know a lot of people have a different take about the saddest moment of the campaign, but that was the saddest moment for me in the campaign. Every single one of us were bawling. We could not contain ourselves. It was so sad. Afterwards, we head back to Directian, and we did the sanctification ceremony on Jaminia. Left, and as a result, we figure out what's been going on. So, at Civil War, and we have to, get everything back to the way it was. So, after a skirmish with a general who went cuckoo, we end up going back to Gatlistown. If only it was there.
Gatlistown was not there?
Gatlistown was blown up. It was set ablaze. So if you ever seen Mulan, where everything's hunky dory, and then all of a sudden you see nothing but red, that was Gatlistown. The town was essentially destroyed. We had no idea where anyone was, and Jalaram's mom was killed. Afterwards, this is Jalaram at his lowest, feeling like this is where he's starting to feel the worst. like he almost died again by going up against. You got Orpheus.
Yeah, I got Orpheus. No, not really. That would imply that Rose was at the very end of the path, at the end of the trial, going to hell. They all looked back and then she was. I think you got the wrong metaphor there.
Yeah, but yeah, well, it was the worst moment for us. Jalaram almost died again thanks to a necromorph. This is also where we meet Armau's official player character and Rhyme, a sorcerer with ice powers.
Ooh.
Sorry, a sorcerer with a icy personality.
Oh.
And I'm just gonna lower this just a bit. Then we basically have to figure out like the necromorph. We're trying to figure out so, like certain people are missing, and we have to go to back to Golgari to figure out what's going on. And in doing so, we find out that an attack is being planned, or attack has been planned, by someone, and it's probably by the other side. We find their camp, and we realize, and all of a sudden, Rava shows up again.
Ah.
Yeah. So yeah, he comes back. Like he comes back after dealing with his stuff, and he is 100. And he asks, "Okay, what's been going on?" We show him the report about attack that's about to happen. And he asks us like questions about why are you guys doing this? Like shouldn't you be back with your own side, like dealing with whatnot? Everyone gives their own speeches about like where directly despite Gatlas was my home, it got destroyed. Like I was on one side, but I was part of that melting pot. I'm here to end the war. I'm here to end the war peacefully. Everyone has their own stuff. And it's revealed that it was Ravis's doing.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is where we get the reveal that Ravis and his band of Drow are the ones that started the Civil War. And this is where Amber felt the most betrayed. This is also where Ivan also was the next person to die.
Oh no!
Like Ivan, yeah, Ravis slashed him clean. He ended up dying. We ended up fighting a bunch of Drow. We were overwhelmed, and then all of a sudden, a good number of people came out to help us, including an inspector from whatchamacallit? Inspector from Gatlas and Amarta. They remember the goddess Tamara? She's officially in mortal form now.
Okay.
Because Salik died.
Oh.
And everything is basically going like this. We have essentially a resistance. So that includes. So we have basically a small group of people working as resistance, which also includes. You remember that the husband and wife dragon that married? Mm-hmm. They're better now.
Yay!
And they have a kid.
Yay!
That they named Ivan. Spelt with an E.
Aww.
Essentially, all the good stuff that we did in the previous sessions had a payoff. And another one of them was that the drunkard that Owen disguised himself was actually his father. He's been sober for a good while.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the part where Josh decides this is where everyone is going to come together in regards to in order to have their happy ending. So Jalaram comes through as a leader. Phaethrum gets her confidence back. Ivan, I'm trying to remember what his I forgot what his story was. Amber becomes a diamond dragon.
Oh, nice.
And more things come together. It's like there's a lot to get into with season 4, but this is the epic finale. We end up fighting Ravus multiple times. I should point out healing. Yes.
Yes.
It's a time of healing. Everyone's getting their proposals in. We find out that Amontolo is actually Owen's deity.
Okay.
And I forgot. I'm trying to remember the Cheshire Cat's actual name.
Huh.
Was it
Slip in your mind?
Yeah, it's slipping my mind. Oh, Alitamara.
Ah.
Yes, that was revealed in season 2, but yeah, he's alive.
Yay.
Yeah, and everything's like sort of coming together. And if you want to watch more of that, you learn how we defeat Ravus, how we defeat Asmodeus, and also stuff regarding stuff that will happen later on. So, Welcome to the Show is a great starting point for those who want to get into the D&D stuff. If you want to, it is like the Brony version of Critical Role. Like if you want to start watching something that you easily get into, all the shenanigans regarding like Nat ones on Roll and the stuff on Roll20, that's a good place to start. It is long. Keep in mind, it is long. It'll take weeks, if not months, to complete the first series. Ends on a great note. If you want to talk, there's other notes regarding that series. If you want to have a look at some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, check out the live streams on Dr. Wolf's as well as Josh's Dragon Finder gaming channel. That's where we have all
your sessions?
Yeah, all of our sessions. And right now we're on to the sequel campaign called Shadows of the Old World. The basic premise of that is stuff from the way distant past where everything is going on there is starting to come back. And all sorts of events are sort of connected, but they're not really cohesive as of yet. As of now, there are about 147 episodes of Shadows of the Old World that are out right now. We're in the middle of season 2 that has currently aired. We all record sessions, 4.5 hours, usually like once or twice a month. And then I trim them down to cut all the fat so everyone can watch them. I can't really say anything much as far as what's going on then.
Spoilers.
Yeah, for spoiler reasons, and also because I haven't edited them yet. But Shadows of the Old World is... I'll say it's complicated. Because everyone... Again, it's also another thing where everyone has their own story arc. Everyone has their own story beats. But we have the overarching plot regarding what the hell's going... Like, how is everything connected?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I... That is Welcome to the Show in a nutshell. As well as Brony D&D. / Pathfinder.
Right. Oh, that's where he got the name Dragon Finder from.
Yes, dragons. Yeah, so Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm. This is a nice, quick summary for those of us who don't have time to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, a 2 hour 20-minute summary.
Well, thank you for talking about this with me.
Hey, I don't mind. It was our anniversary, after all.
So,
Yeah.
I guess this brings this little stream to a close.
Yes. Ow.
You okay?
Yeah, my legs hurt.
Aww.
Also, I have there.
Okay. And with that, guess we'll see you all in 2 weeks for the next Infodumping session. You know, if we don't decide to do more killing school campaign shit.